Hey Christine, have you ever had a time where everything went wrong?
Well, of course. But I think this question is very broad because, it happens, but like small things happen like throughout the week or something. Not like all at once, luckily, but sometimes the universe can like almost like smell that stuff is going wrong, and then it goes wrong like multiple things in the morning.
No.
I had, for example, this morning, yesterday I got soaked in the rain. So then what I do is I pull my laces, because my feet were soaked as well. So I pulled my laces out to let my shoes air dry. And then I had to, but I really like to wear my shoes tight. Mm-hmm. So eventually my laces kind of look raggedy because I like to really,
But that's cool nowadays.
It is?
I have no idea.
Well, I don't know either. But it makes them like weaker. So I was already afraid when I laced them up this morning, and I had one shoe done, and then the other one, and then it broke. My lace broke. So I'm not sure if you noticed, but this morning or like today, I had one shoe with white laces and one shoe with black laces.
I mean, fair play to you. I don't have a spare pair of laces at home, so...
No, but I should, because I have this thing like every time I buy new shoes, like after a couple months, the laces break. It's annoying.
The universe is really out to get you, Christine.
No, I just don't really handle my laces properly, I guess. And the other thing that happened this morning, so like two things that went bad, is that I was eating a cracker with hagelslag. Like so dramatic, I know. But then it broke, like I was holding it with one hand and then my cracker broke.
Wow.
And it went everywhere. And I just
That's what hagelslag does.
Yeah, but that's so annoying. And I cleaned my floor the day before, and it went just everywhere. And I had to tip over my laptop just to like get everything, all the hagelslag out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was great.
And this was all today?
Yeah, that was this morning.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't two things, so it's not super bad. But just the universe really knows how to get you sometimes.
Well, let's hope that's the end of today's horrors for you.
I hope so too. I hope, fingers crossed, that this podcast goes well.
Yeah, let's make sure we're actually recording.
Yeah, no, it is on. I checked. So, but what about you, Ciara? Have you ever had a time where everything went wrong?
I would say that more than a time, I've had a place where everything went wrong.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I have been to Vienna twice in the last couple of years, and both times Vienna is clearly just not my city. So the first time that I went, the day before I was due to fly, I had my wisdom teeth taken out the week before. Yeah. And the day before I was supposed to fly to Vienna, they got really infected.
Oh, what?
So I was in so much pain, but it was a Friday. So all of the doctors were closed for the weekend. My only option would have been to go to like literally the hospital.
Oh.
And I was worried that they would say, don't go to Vienna. Yeah. And I was like, no, I have paid for this trip. I want to go to Vienna. So I went the next day. And I think we were there for like 3 or 4 days. And they were not pleasant days, let me tell you. I enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed seeing Vienna, but I was in so much pain the whole time that like my face looked like I was hating everything.
Oh, that's
in
awful.
My head I was like, oh, this is very pretty, but on the outside I was like, everything hurts.
I can imagine.
So yeah, that was the first time. And then I went again to Vienna last summer, and the reason I went back so soon after my previous trip was because I was due to see Taylor Swift,
of course,
on her Eras tour. So I had booked to go see her in Vienna because that was the only place I could get tickets. And then I think the day before I was supposed to fly, it was announced that all of her Vienna tour dates were cancelled.
No. Due to the terrorist
threat. Yeah.
Awful. That's really bad luck.
So again, I was still like, well, everything is paid for. It's non-refundable. I've already taken the days from work, so I might as well go. And I still had a nice time in Vienna, in spite of having already seen all of it the year before. But yeah, it was a bit sad, particularly because everybody in the entire city was also a Swiftie. Yeah. And we're all just like collectively depressed.
That really sucks. But did you get your money back from like the tickets?
From the tickets, yeah.
Oh, that's
good.
But
the accommodation and flights, they couldn't.
No,
so,
okay. That's it.
Anyway, yeah. So Vienna, I love you, but I don't think you love me. So.
No, very clear. So, yeah, that's actually a perfect story, because today we are talking about a Thanksgiving meal that couldn't have got any worse. So, Season 1, Episode 9 of Friends.
1,
Hello and welcome to Friends of Friends, the ultimate Friends rewatch podcast. I'm Ciara Murphy.
And I'm Christine Schumacher, and we are back rewatching the entire Friends series.
Why? Well, because number one, this is a podcast that can make any bad day feel better. And number two, of course, because we want to watch it with you.
So each week, we'll be rewatching an episode of Friends, talking about it, sharing behind-the-scenes content, and discussing anything and everything about the show that shaped an entire generation. So, before we get into it, Ciara, if your week was an episode of Friends, what would it be called?
All right, so this week I think I would call the one with the horror movie.
Okay.
Ooh.
Tell me more.
So what you should know about me, Christine, is that I, with my entire heart, hate horror movies.
Okay.
I have knowingly watched 2 of them in my life, both on the same evening. It was one of my friend's birthdays, like her 16th birthday or something.
Yeah.
And she invited us over and we watched, like my spine is shivering just thinking about it. We watched a movie called House of Wax.
Never heard of it.
And we watched a movie called, I think it was like Hitcher or something. So the first one was about, I don't even want to talk about it.
Why are you?
Like horrible wax mannequins.
Ugh, that sounds
killing.
awful.
And then the second one was about a serial killer hitchhiker. And again, this was like over 10 years ago, and you can tell I am still traumatized by these. So I go out of my way to not watch horror movies. Like I will avoid them like the plague. But this past weekend, I knew that I wanted to go to the cinema on Sunday afternoon, and I had seen this poster for a movie, and I was like, oh, that looks like an interesting action movie, because it was just like a guy holding a gun. That was it.
Yeah, okay.
And I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Nothing told me otherwise. Just like cool action gangster movie.
What was the title?
It's called Sinners.
Yeah, that kind of shows horror kind of genre, but if
really,
you
what
know,
do you read from that?
No, if you,
but
if
it's
you
not
know,
it's not what you think. It's not like a poltergeist or any kind of demons or something. It's a vampire movie.
Oh, with a gun?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, I was going in thinking like, oh, this is going to be like a fun, high adrenaline action movie. Christine, oh my God.
What was it?
It was terrifying. I mean, it wasn't the worst horror movie, but it was still scary. Like there were still jump scares. The creatures were like scary looking. And I think the worst bit was the gore. Like they had the really gushy blood.
Right.
By the end, I was like, I feel kind of sick.
You're making me feel sick right now.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to talking about I Am Legend.
No, that's also not good.
So yeah, I traumatized myself this week.
Yeah.
That's my story for you.
Did you go alone or?
I did.
Oh my God, it's even worse. It's even worse.
Scaring myself to death, and then it was dark when I left the cinema,
No.
and I was like, I'm gonna be attacked by a vampire.
That's the time.
Yeah, so that was my week. How about you,
Lovely.
Christine? If your week was an episode of Friends, what would it be called?
Probably the one where I'm getting old.
Aww.
And it's not my birthday. No. We had that.
We already had that.
Yeah, we already had that like a couple of episodes ago. But I went skating with my sister, and we used to do that when we were young.
This is
like many
roller skating.
Yeah, roller
right?
skating. Sorry, roller skating. And we used to do that like back in the day, and it was like really a throwback to like our times, like roller skating on the bicycle lanes and stuff like that. And we were looking for the most smooth concrete.
Ooh.
We wanted the best experience. So we went to the canal, and next to the canal you have like a mountain. What's it called? A dike.
Okay.
Whatever it's called. And there they have like the
I'm not from a place with canals.
But they have the smoothest concrete ever. So we wanted to go there, but then you have to go up a hill. And that's awful with roller skates, because then you have to kind of like, how are you going to do that? Like make a lot of like
Take
speed.
off your roller skates.
Yeah, that's what I eventually kind of did on the way back. But we wanted to take one road that wasn't as steep as the other roads. But we took the wrong turn, and eventually we ended up at a sandy road, like up the hill. And we were standing there, like very slowly, like walking towards the hill. And then And we were like joking, like, oh, you haven't fallen yet. Like,
oh
like,
no,
oh my God, we
you
are
should
so
never
good
say
at this.
that.
Like, yeah, and then I fell on my ass. And my first thought, and the first thing I said to my sister was like, oh my God, my lower back. Because that's and that's such a grandma thing to say. But that's like the part that hits the most, because that's the whole vibration goes through your back.
Reverberation.
It's awful. And then, so that was the first thing I said, which made me feel very old.
Yeah.
And then my sister said like, oh, I will help you up, after laughing her ass off, of course. But I will help you up. But I was like, no, you are on roller skates as well, so I'm not going to risk it that you fall as well. So I crawled to a nearby, like a lighting post.
Yeah.
And then that helped me get up, but I never felt so old, needing an aid to get up. It was really awful. But yeah, you have wheels on your feet, so it's difficult to get up. But I just felt like a grandma.
Well, welcome to your late 20s, Christine. It only gets worse from here on out.
Cannot wait. So yeah, that was my week.
Well, let's hope that we have no injuries, no bad times, or anything else throughout today's episode. I'm sitting firmly in my chair.
Me too.
I hope that it will not collapse underneath me.
No.
All right, Christine, are you ready for today's episode?
Yes, I am.
Let's go.
This week, we'll be discussing Season 1, Episode 9, the one where Underdog gets away. Originally aired on November 17, 1994, this episode was written by Jeff Greenstein and Jeff Strauss, both Jeffs, and directed by James Burrows.
I love how every time the two Jeffs write
I
something, you're like, two Jeffs!
Yay!
Well, in addition to our regular cast this week, we have Jane Sibbett appearing for the first time as Carol, Max Wright as Terry, and Jessica Hetch as Susan.
Nice.
I have our very first Friends fact of the episode for you, Christine.
Okay.
So almost every season has a Thanksgiving Day episode,
Mm-hmm.
and 5 of those episodes are the 8th episode in their respective season, and 4 are in the 9th episode, including this one. So you can always find a Thanksgiving episode in the 8th or 9th episode.
That's actually a very useful tip. That's very useful, because I love the Thanksgiving episodes.
They're some of the best, right?
Yeah, they're so cozy and nice, yeah. And then, yeah, I think a cool tip. Anyway, I actually have a Friends of Friends fact for you.
Hold on, a Friends of Friends
I know, it's a whole new thing here.
Hit me with it.
It's that, of course, we mentioned this episode is about the one where Underdog gets away. And we've spoken about this Underdog sooner, earlier in the show. In episode 5, we discussed, or Monica discussed, during the dinner with Joey and what's her name again? Angela and her boyfriend. They talk about how Underdog gets away. So then we discussed the switcheroo thing.
Oh, that's true. Happens. Yes, I shall have to go back and listen to episode 5. And
please do.
If you want to do that too, come and join me.
Yeah, so that's actually interesting that we now see Underdog again for some reason.
A recurring character.
Yeah. Very nice. So that was my fact.
Thank you for sharing. Well, this episode was ranked as 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, so a minor step up from last week.
Yeah, minor. Very minor. Ciara, can you give us a brief overview of this episode?
It would be my honor. So in this episode, the gang's Thanksgiving plans go awry when Rachel can't afford plane tickets to go see her family. Joey learns that a modeling job he did is an ad for an STD, and the whole gang get locked out of Monica's apartment.
Oh no.
This is one where everything goes wrong.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, we begin our episode in Central Perk, where Rachel is asking her boss Terry for an advance on her salary so she can spend Thanksgiving in the lovely Vale with her family.
And do we know Terry? Because he looks so familiar in my eyes, but I looked him up and I looked at the movies he played in or the series, and I have no idea.
Well, I think the only person who would know who Terry is actually our dear Courtney Cox, Miss Monica.
Yeah?
Because before Friends, they both co-starred on a short-lived series called Misfits of Science.
Oh.
So I wonder whether this was just a happy coincidence that they ended up on the same show together, or maybe Courtney was like, I know someone who would be perfect for the one line or two lines that Terry gets in this episode.
Because I think he only appears in like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 episodes.
Well, Christine, if you didn't just fall right into a Friends fact.
Oh, tell me more.
Well, what I can tell you about Terry is that he is just Terry, no surname. Mm-hmm. He is seen once more in an episode called The One with the Baby on the Bus, and then mentioned in passing in a later episode where Gunther tells Rachel that Terry wants her to do the waitress training again.
Mm-hmm. So I guess Monica didn't really like him after all that much, maybe.
Well, I'm not surprised that he comes back to say that he wants Rachel to do waitress training again, because she's asking for an advance and he just straight up says, you're a terrible, terrible waitress. Really, really awful.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Terry. He is very direct. He could be Dutch.
I think if my boss said that to me, I would cry.
Yeah, me too, probably.
Rachel clearly has a thick skin.
Yeah, but I was thinking about this, but Rachel is not the only waitress working that day, because later, like when the friends all arrive, they also, there's another lady in the back, so it's not all her fault, to be honest.
Well, maybe she was on her break though, huh?
Yeah, but then still, like all the people needing coffee is like a lot for only Rachel, so she should have not been helping before her break anyways. Like I don't know.
And everybody just drank their coffee very, very quickly.
Yeah, maybe that's the case, but I don't think so, because I just think they're both terrible.
Well, you know what? I said that maybe Terry would make me cry, but I also think he must be a very nice boss to still let her have her job, because she's clearly horrendous.
That's also true. That's very true.
If only all of our bosses were that lenient.
No. Maybe.
Yeah, you're good at your job, Christine. You don't need to worry about it.
Oh, thank you. So, let's move on. Rachel continues her attempt to get an advance on her tips, while Joey comes in and reveals that as of today, you're looking at Joey Tribbiani, actor/model.
Ooh la la.
Monica also tells Ross that their parents will be away for Thanksgiving, so she decides to host a dinner at her apartment instead.
Well, you know what? I've decided that rather than just having text notes for our episode breakdowns, I need to start having visual notes, because I just wrote here, Phoebe's outfit is insane.
Oh, I had the exact same thing.
Well, now I'm wondering what I was talking about. Do you remember what she was wearing?
Yeah, she was wearing a striped blouse, but I think like green and blue, and she had red and blue, and she wore green pants. It was hideous. That's the first thing I wrote down.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it was hideous.
It was hideous. Like, oh my god! Like, what was she thinking? I think last time in the episode I mentioned like that the cast could choose their own clothes. Well, and she didn't have her day, I guess.
No, she was really leaning into her wacky Phoebe era.
Yeah, really awful. And another thing I saw is that the lobster is back, and I was done. That thing has been taunting me since day one, and I looked on Google and in the internet, and I think I found something very similar on eBay, and I think it is a lobster.
You're
after
kidding.
all, because look at this.
What
I'm
is
showing
that?
For the listeners, I'm showing Ciara a picture right now on my phone.
Well, let me describe it to you. It is indeed a bright red plastic. Is it plastic or
I think it's
ceramic?
I think ceramic.
A ceramic lobster that looks like it's on just like a giant piece of lettuce.
Yeah. I think it looks very, very similar.
It does.
Like shiny as well, and it could be that this is the mysterious lobster.
Okay, you're gonna buy it for us, right?
No, it's like $75. So no.
Christine, we're making big
ugly.
advertising money with my IKEA sponsorship.
I would love
episode
that.
1. IKEA, please.
Yeah, no, it's hideous. But I think this might be it.
Okay.
The great mystery has been solved.
Do you know what? We've done it. We've solved the mystery, and that lobster will never, ever be mentioned again.
Nah.
Just like your dear friend, Kiki. And on that note,
oh, man.
well, I have another callback as well. So you remember we had that whole discussion a couple of episodes ago about the things that the characters read.
Yeah.
And how Ross was so
slow,
intent on reading his cycling magazine.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be pleased to know that he has moved on.
Yeah,
Christine,
I saw too.
to Anthropology Weekly.
Wow, so interesting.
But you know what? That's more in line with what he actually does and his interests.
That's
so
true. It fits.
I was quite happy with that.
Yeah. And then, of course, Joey comes in with his model slash... actor slash model. And then I love Chandler's response saying like, that's so funny because I was thinking you look more like Joey Tribbiani, man slash woman.
Okay, that's definitely something that they would not allow on TV these days,
No,
I think. So.
No, definitely not. But I think, yeah, he was so sarcastic in this whole episode. We will see that later again. That he's like, his sarcasm is through the roof in this episode for some reason, but I really think he was funny.
Well, also funny. When they're talking about what diseases that Joey hopes he's the face of, you know, and Joey's like, I hear Lyme disease is open, and Chandler's like, good luck, man. I hope you get it.
Yeah.
Joey, don't get Lyme disease.
No, please don't do it.
Bless.
Please don't.
But by far, my favorite moment from this scene, you know what? My favorite word.
Mm-hmm.
Shoop. Shoop.
Yeah.
Shoop. I'm sorry. How did the writer... Is that what we say when we ski? Or is that just what people of a certain income bracket say when they go skiing?
Maybe. But I think it's like the movement, like moving from one side and then making the turn, and I think that makes a shoop sound.
I gathered that it was, with the poles.
Yeah,
shoop,
maybe that as
shoop,
well,
shoop,
kind of.
Otherwise, that would be a very slow shooping if you're going...
Yeah. Or really fast. If it's the turn and it's like shoop, 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 shoop.
We just have so many questions for Jennifer Aniston. So if you could book that interview soon, Christine, come on.
I'm trying. Right. Please reply to my emails. Jennifer, thank you.
Anyway, we continue across town where Ross visits Carol's apartment to pick up a skull he lent her, only to find that she isn't home, and so he has to put up with his... friend? No, Susan instead.
And I love Ross. But the first thing, like this scene starts with him at the door, of course, and he asks like, oh, I'm looking for my skull. And then he clarifies himself as like, he says like, I'm here to pick up my skull. And then he says something like, it's not my skull, obviously, but like, who in the right mind would think he was looking for his own skull?
Joey.
Maybe. That's a good point, actually. And then, of course, but then Susan is looking very unimpressed. And then she says, what does it look like? How do you not know what a skull looks like?
Well, no, but he works in paleontology.
Yeah.
So it could be any kind of dinosaurs. Well, I don't know. Maybe they have a collection of skulls. Yeah, you're right. If it's a skull and she only has one skull in her apartment, she should know it's that one.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But then she also says, like, he says, like, it's a big face without skin.
Oh.
And then she says, yes, I'm familiar with the concept. Like, then why ask in the first place? Like, come on. If you know what it looks like.
She likes getting on his nerves.
Maybe. I do love how sassy she is.
Well, do you know what? You started this bit by saying how much you love Ross, and I'm like, I think Susan is great. Yeah. I find also in the first episode that we saw her, I remember that I said like I liked her witty quips, and again with this, just so many good things that she said. Like I wrote 2 of them down here. So when Ross is having a look around the apartment and he's like, wow, you guys sure have a lot of books about being a lesbian.
Yeah.
And Susan's like, well, you have to take a course, otherwise they don't let you do it.
Yeah. So funny. Yeah, she's really cool.
And then also when they're talking about speaking to the baby, and Ross is like, do you talk about me? And she's like, yeah, all the time. Ross is like, really? Yes, but we just refer to you as Bobo the sperm guy.
And why Bobo? Is it a thing? I think
it's just kind of like a goofy sounding name.
Bobo.
So she doesn't want her baby to feel connected to Bobo the sperm
but
guy.
Sad actually, because he's still the dad.
I don't think it's true, Christine.
No, okay, maybe she's just getting on his nerves. I get it.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, he gets on my nerves though. He's going around this apartment touching everything. Like he did that in the gynecologist office. Ross, just keep your hands to yourself. I know. Please, man.
But they do have some cute decor. I think they used all the same decorator for all the apartments. Because again, like Susan and Carol also have like very cute stuff, like all like very trinkets and stuff. Like I also saw like a milk jug thingy in the shape of a cow.
Oh, fun.
Cute, so cute. So yeah, like I also noticed that in the last episode in the house of Judy and Jack, that it's like filled with all kinds of trinkets. So that's like an ongoing thing in the show that they love trinkets. All of them love trinkets.
Wow, props to the set designers.
Yeah,
Very well
it's
done.
cute. Like, nice to look at. And
they always
for...
make it seem like lived in, homey as well.
Yeah.
So, if I could afford it, I would move in to any of these places. Even the ATM vestibule.
No, I wouldn't do that. Back at Monica's, Ross is upset about finding out that Susan is talking to his baby inside of Carol's belly. The gang all chip in to help Rachel fly to Vale, and Chandler reveals why he hates Thanksgiving dinner so much.
How can you hate Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, I've never experienced it, so I have no idea.
Oh, Christine, we gotta fix that.
Should we host a Friendsgiving, please?
Ooh, yes. Well, for me, I think the main thing about Thanksgiving is I just love mac and cheese so much. Like, that's my death row meal. Okay, Christine, hear me out. My starter is like burrata. Anything with burrata. Just just like a bowl of burrata. I could have that. Mm-hmm. And then my main course, mac and cheese.
Yum.
But like really good mac
Lots
and cheese.
Lots of cheese. Yeah.
What's your point?
I don't know.
And then dessert, I'm going to go for a chocolate lava cake.
Ooh, yeah. Very good. Very good.
You have a death row meal?
No, because I crave something different every time, Wow. But I would choose either for dessert a crème brûlée or panna cotta.
Wow, I love the pronunciation of those both as well.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Nice. Okay, yeah, we can certainly plan a Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, but not with the food that the guys have at the end. We won't spoil it now.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we won't. I'm not spoiling anything. No. I don't want that. I want the classical, like the yams and the turkey and whatever else they're having. The cranberry juice, something.
Sauce, yeah.
I want that.
Oh, do you know what I want? I want our listeners, if we have any listeners who have celebrated Thanksgiving, please, I beg you, send in pictures of your Thanksgiving meal, just so that like Christine and I can salivate over them. I would love that. So please you know what? No questions this week. Just send your Thanksgiving meals to us on Instagram at FOFPodOfficial or
through our email, which is FOFPodOfficial@gmail.com.
I'm still waiting for someone to message in and tell us if, what was it, Minnesota?
Alabama,
really weird.
Right? Alabama?
No. It's definitely not Alabama.
Maybe it's weird.
I think Alabama is known to be weird, but Minnesota?
Maybe it was Minnesota. I don't remember. But anyways, you guys remember because you just watched the last episode. So please let us know what is it like living there, wherever it is.
Well, my thoughts on this particular scene, I have two, if you can handle it. Number one, Ross's sweater. Yes, please. It's one of those like really chunky knit, super cozy
I don't
sweaters.
Remember it.
Oh,
it was black,
so
right?
Nice. No, white, I think.
What?
Yeah, like a creamy color. You definitely have to check it out because also I think it really helps to set the vibe for the scene as well.
Yeah.
We were talking about for the whole episode. It's this Thanksgiving episode, and you said the Thanksgiving episodes were all really cozy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, okay.
And then they dressed them in cozy clothes.
Yeah, that's true. Like, but I was thinking like you meant the white color. I was like, is that
cozy? No, I meant the sweater.
No, I was thinking like, color of snow maybe, but no. Anyway, I understand what you're getting at. Yeah, and I really also loved how they also decorated the apartment with all kinds of like Thanksgiving-y stuff, like lots of pumpkins and just like orangey flowers and stuff. That's really cute. I really like how they of course matched the scenery with the season.
Okay, well today's Emmy for me, my personal Ciara Emmy, is going to the set designers.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Previously, it was the cat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think I gave it to the episode as a whole. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think the episode as a whole, but doesn't matter right now. Matter.
Well, I have my second thought for you. Can you handle it?
Of course.
Wow. I thought that it was so nice that they all chip in for Rachel.
Yeah,
to send her to Vale. Oh.
So, but I also love the scene that happens just before it, that Monica is like, here's your mail. And Rachel is like, you can just put it on the table. And then she hits Rachel with the mail on her head. It's so funny. So
to be fair, I mean, you would be a bit annoyed if your friend hit you on the head with an envelope. But to find out that it's full of money.
It's great.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah. And then there's one final thing I want to say about this scene is, why is Monica providing Chandler with his feast?
Do you know what, Christine? I have a secret to tell you. I actually had 3 thoughts.
Oh, okay.
And my third one is, why is Monica shopping for Chandler?
Yeah, my exact same thought.
This is the second time, right? That she's just provided him with food. She previously gave him a whole pan and everything he needed.
For the breakfast.
Yeah, to make
with,
breakfast for
Aurora.
Aurora. And now, Monica.
Yeah, I don't know
He's
why.
a grown man.
I know. I'm like, it's not even Thanksgiving food, so why is he like taking his hands off it?
Yeah, I
he
think
can do it himself.
Yeah. Well,
it's lame.
Here's my conspiracy theory.
He's a child.
Well, I think most people know how the two of them will continue. But my theory is it's because he has mummy issues, clearly. He needs somebody to go and buy his groceries. Come on, Chandler.
Yeah, he does have, I think, mommy-daddy issues.
Oh, he does. Yes, we will find that out.
Yeah, not sure how to call that because it's his dad, but then, yeah,
but then
doesn't
also,
matter. For now.
Well, we'll pick that up in some time on Friends of Friends. But for now, let's continue with the episode where we have Joey meeting and hitting it off with an ex-colleague of his until she leaves abruptly after spotting Joey's face on a poster warning against venereal disease. Oh,
yeah.
He did not get Lyme disease.
Rough. But it took me so long to understand what they were talking about because he knew the girl from Macy's.
Yeah.
And he was the Artemis guy, like Artemis. And apparently the movement he makes with his hands is a perfume bottle.
You didn't get that?
No, I was like, I thought they were talking about a play or something. Like Artemis, like the goddess.
I don't remember exactly what the perfume was called, but I thought it was Aramis.
Oh, that could also be true. I have no idea what he said. I thought Artemis. So I thought, it's a Greek play or something. I don't know.
See, now that's interesting because I have seen those people in department stores who will stand by the door or the entrance to the perfume section, and then they'll go like, Obsession?
Yeah.
Or Chanel No. 5?
Yeah, because she was the obsession girl.
Yes, exactly. So I've seen them, and so I knew immediately. Also, I don't know, maybe...
I didn't make that connection.
If I was miming, do you want some perfume?
Yeah. But
do you want some pepper spray?
Yeah, but he was like very slow. So that's why I didn't get it.
That's why he got fired from the Aramis job.
Maybe. I don't know. And, of course, this is the scene with my favorite song ever.
Oh... Christine, we're going to have to hear it.
I'm going to sing it.
I didn't even have to ask.
No.
Backing track, go.
Don't stand so close to me. Don't stand so close to me. It's so fun. I love that song. Thank you.
Encore.
And I actually have a Friends fact
Hang
about
on.
this song.
I'm not finished with your...
sorry.
I just wanted to say that I think this is why we need to make this a video podcast as well, because the two of us, that was just a beautiful moment between Christine and I. She's there singing her heart out. I'm vibing in the background. It was nice.
We should record it. Someday.
But now that I am finished sharing that, please tell me your Friends fact.
Friends fact, yes. So the song that is playing the Don't Stand So is actually a song by The Police. And on the B-side of this single in the UK was a song called Friends.
No.
Which is such a coincidence. And the lead singer of The Police is Sting, whose wife, Trudy Styler, appears later in the series as well as Sting's wife.
Oh,
so that's
does
really
Sting
fun.
not appear in this series?
No, I think he was too famous. I have no idea.
Sting's been in I feel like I've seen a lot of TV shows with Sting.
But no, he's not. You never see him in the show. But then there's one last part about this fact is that the drummer of The Police is Stuart Copeland, whose uncle, Hunter Copeland, is married to Courtney Cox's mother.
Oh.
Yeah. So
what a small world we live in.
Terry, and now also... What's the name?
Somebody, Copeland?
Yeah, Copeland, Hunter Copeland, and then Trudy Styler is coming back. So yeah, it's all connected.
Wow. Okay, all right. That was a big Friends fact to unpack. I really liked this scene as well, where you're seeing all of the posters all across New York.
Yeah.
I was wondering, was that real? Did they really put them everywhere? I mean, obviously, I think the Times Square one was not real.
No?
I don't think they really had
the budget.
What's Mario not telling you? But no, I thought, well, I wrote down big budget, because some of them were clearly real props and, they're putting up the posters in places. So, wow. It's that Jill Goodacre money. Yeah. After that episode, they were like, we can spend like nobody's business.
Who knows? But poor Joey. But everyone thinks that he has VD, and even his family. But I mean, how dumb are they that they think that because of a poster he has VD?
Well, I'm sorry, but you look at Joey, you can imagine what kind of intelligence his family might have.
Yeah, okay, but this thinking that someone has actually a disease because they're on a poster is the same as thinking that he is actually a doctor by seeing him on TV.
Ooh, true. So that's a good analogy.
So it's stupid.
But not only his family, but the friends are all really mean to him. They're laughing at him. I mean, he already feels awful. I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, and then
they've just been so nice to Rachel, and now they're just being mean to poor Joey.
Yeah, but they do that more often. In the last episode as well, they make jokes again to Joey about his big breakthrough with the Al Pacino movie. Mm-hmm. And now again, Phoebe makes the joke as... laughter can be infectious.
Oh,
I know, poor Joey.
Well, I hope it's all in good humor.
Who knows? I hope so too.
I have a feeling, Christine, that they might continue being friends for, let's say, the next 10 years.
I think so too. Yeah, there's a slight smidge in my mind that's just maybe that can happen. I can see it happening. But to get back in the episode. Thanksgiving preparations are on their way, with Monica making not one, but 3 different kinds of potatoes to make all her guests happy. Then Chandler rushes in with the news that the Underdog balloon has escaped, and everyone rushes to the roof. Okay,
unpopular opinion. I'm gonna go for... I think I'd go for the tots.
Yeah, same.
Yeah?
Yeah. The clumps do not... They don't sound very nice.
I like a good mashed potato.
Yeah.
It's something about... Also, as a Dutch woman, you should love fried food, right?
Yeah. Also true. And it does sound nice with the
peas and
onions. But
it's too fancy.
Yeah, tots are just way better.
Tots gotta go the whole way, yeah. But the whole... Again, I already said this. The whole meal sounds amazing. Monica's like, cider's mulling, yum. Turkey's turkin... I don't know what that means. Yams or yamming. Amazing.
Sounds so good. And it's so sweet of her to make 3 different kinds of potatoes. Is so kind. I think that's so sweet. And they're all like playing her to let her make the 3 kinds of potatoes. Like Phoebe saying oh, my mom, that's how my mom made it before she died. And Joey's like, oh, but I cannot be with my family. And they're all kind of playing her to make them. So it's really sweet of her.
I mean, to be fair, if you get your tots, I'd do anything for tots.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know whether this was the first episode that we saw it, but Christine, they have finally changed the apartment numbers. Had that already happened before?
I think it happens around... episode 6. We didn't mention it.
I feel like maybe we didn't see the door that much.
Could be.
Or maybe we already did. But anyway, I noticed it in this one, so I'm like, woo, 19 and 20. We finally
have it.
That would be funny if they moved upstairs 2 floors to a completely identical apartment.
Yeah.
They're just all furnished exactly the same.
Exactly the same. the same wall color, exactly the same.
Also, I found there were a couple of really funny lines in this scene. I liked it when Ross was saying, it's just not the same without Mom in the kitchen. And then Monica snaps at him, get out of my way. And he's like, yeah, that's closer. Yeah. I thought that was really nice. And then also when Chandler rushes in and he's like, an 80-foot inflatable dog is let loose over the city. How often does that happen? And Phoebe's like, almost never.
Yeah. I love that. It's typical Phoebe.
As we have established in the Friends universe, maybe it happened twice.
Yeah, that's true.
Monica's already aware of it multiple episodes before. So
interesting.
But yeah, super nice writing. So, Emmy nominee to the writers. But my winner, set design.
Yeah.
Anyway, we continue over at Susan and Carol's, where Ross is finding it very hard to speak to the baby. But he does have a go singing to it, which results in the baby's first kick.
Oh my god. Aww. And so cute. I think that scene where the baby kicks and they all touching the belly is so cute.
But Christine, it's wrong.
It's wrong?
It's wrong. Friends fact.
Okay.
So, Ross feels the baby kick, and then Carol says that was the first time the baby kicked.
Yeah.
This, I do not believe, can be true, because the internet tells me that the first few times a baby kicks, only the mother can feel it. Because the fetus is still small. Others can feel the baby kick during the last trimester. So the mother should have been feeling it for months before that. So if this is the first time the baby kicked, either, the baby's got a very strong leg, or Carol is just like, cannot feel anything.
No, I mean, maybe Carol's just very tough and just doesn't feel anything.
Oh, punch, punch, punch.
Yeah. maybe that's it. Who knows? But yeah, interesting fact, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, you were also talking about singing earlier, and I wonder whether you want to sing some more for us. But we said Ross is singing here to the baby, and the song that he sings is based on a theme song for the TV show The Monkees.
Ah, and I totally forgot how the song went. I'm your dad, the one without any breasts. That's what he sings, right?
Is that what he sings?
Yeah, at the end.
What nice lyrics. The lyrics that I wrote down were, when you come out, I'll buy you a bagel.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to the zoo. Ross, you do know babies can't eat bagels.
After a few years, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. And Christine, you'll be pleased to know that I also had a look at Carol's reading material. We're all about the magazines in this episode. She's reading Architecture Today.
But she's a teacher.
Yes, we also find that out, right?
Yeah, because Susan says that she's at a faculty meeting. Yeah, so we learn that she is kind of like a school someone. Yeah, I'm not sure about the teacher thing, but
maybe she teaches architecture.
Ooh. I was thinking like middle school.
Could be.
No idea.
Be. But they got to learn maths, art, all the things that you need to be a great architect.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I love this Carol. I'm very glad that they switched the actresses, and I think this Carol is so sweet and just better than the last one.
Yeah, what do you think makes her stand out?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
It's just her essence.
Yeah, her demeanor, the way she moves, the way she talks, the way her face looks. I just like it. I don't know.
I think she's your Carol, right?
Yeah, maybe that's also just because it's my Carol because she plays in the rest of the series, but I just don't. Yeah, I like this one better than the previous one. Also because the other one was maybe more generic looking, and this one Carol has more of a special face.
Okay.
Like not a special face, but like not a generic face.
Yeah, more noticeable.
Yeah, that's
unique,
right. Maybe that's also a part of it. But who knows?
Interesting. Okay.
But meanwhile, the gang arrives back to the apartment to realize that due to miscommunication, no one has the keys. Joe and Chandler realize that they have a spare, but by the time they have looked through the zillion keys they have, Thanksgiving dinner is ruined.
Oh,
so sad.
What a disaster.
Yeah.
Well, Christine, I listened to this scene so many times, and I was like, what do I hear? Do I hear, got the keys or got the keys?
No, I kind of gave them both like the right, right, because it does sound like Monica says like got the keys. But then the response of Rachel is also not very clear. So even if she meant it as a question, then why didn't she wait for like a positive response from Rachel?
Well, Rachel just said okay, right? Or
it's like okay, like coming up, so like coming up to the roof. So there wasn't like a very clear kind of answer. So I kind of I blame them both. That's my answer.
I think the sensible thing to have said would have been get the keys.
Yeah,
then that can't be misinterpreted.
No.
But yeah, I'm thinking, later in the series, the whole debate over were they on a break, weren't they on a break? I want the debate to be who was right.
Yeah, who was right? I don't know. But the whole discussion about where it's between Monica and Rachel saying like, you said got the keys, and then Rachel says, no, you said got the keys, or whatever they say, and then Chandler, of course, comes in with, again, his sarcasticness, saying anyone have the keys. I think it's so funny. Like he's like almost like feeding off the chaos. He really he's standing there with his drawer full of keys, like very like enjoying the chaos. I think that's so funny.
Chandler, we do not need your sass in a time like this. But I went through the full array of emotions in this scene. Like, first of all, I felt sorry for Rachel because Monica was yelling at her, and then I felt sorry for Monica because everybody was, and Chandler's being so sassy. I'm like, come on, not helping.
It was definitely funny, but also sad for Monica that she has the whole breakdown about the potatoes and stuff. So I get why she's mad.
But she put so much effort into it, and now everybody's taking her for granted. I'm like, come on, I don't see any of you guys cooking. Like, she made 3 different types of potatoes for you.
I don't think they ever said like thank you for anything. They felt like very ungrateful. Very ungrateful, yeah.
Ungrateful.
But it's also weird that the door suddenly locks itself.
Christine, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, because like when Chandler came back to say like, oh my god, the Underdog has escaped, or what's his name, Underdog?
Yeah.
Underdog has escaped. Then the door opens, and then suddenly the next time it closes, it's suddenly locked.
This is not how doors work.
No, I don't.
This was a convenient plot device, and I'm pretty sure we will see throughout the whole rest of this series characters arriving in and out of the apartment with no problems whatsoever. They certainly do not need a key. So writers, we see what you did there. Does not make sense. Nope. But I wanted to point out just one other nice line that I really liked. So when they're looking for the key in Chandler and Joey's drawer, and Monica goes, why do you guys have so many keys in there anyway? And Chandler's like, for an emergency just like this. Chandler, we don't need your sass.
And then also like Monica says something like, can't you go any faster? I think maybe Rachel says that. And then Joey says, I have 1 keyhole and about a zillion keys. You do the math.
He makes a good point.
Yeah, he does make a good point, but it's really funny. Really funny.
This just leads to such discontent within the group. I felt, it made me uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah, they all fight eventually.
Yeah, well, then, of course, they remain angry with each other for apparently quite a while until Phoebe spots ugly naked guy enjoying a Thanksgiving dinner with a special guest. Ooh la la. And then everybody gets back together and the friends end up sharing a rather unconventional Thanksgiving meal of grilled cheese and soup.
And his Funyuns, the crisps.
Oh, really?
He also had Funyuns, and that's in a bowl. Next, like in between.
How do you know
Rachel,
there were Funyuns?
Because that's what Monica says. Like, here is your bag full of Funyuns and grilled cheese fixins and something else.
Grilled cheese. Oh, nice, nice. Funyuns. Yeah. I think they're like onion flavored.
I think so. Yeah, that makes most sense. Yummy.
Okay, Christine. Question: do you want light cheese or dark cheese?
I'm not sure what the difference is, but I was thinking, dark cheese might be old. Because that's a little bit darker, like old cheese. And then young cheese is the lighter cheese.
Okay, that is such a Dutch answer.
Yeah,
I can assure you that Americans do not have young cheese and old cheese. They just have cheese.
Cheese.
So I have no idea. I mean, like, I can imagine what light cheese is. I would imagine old cheese is light cheese. Do you know what? I have actually had brown cheese.
When?
You want the date?
No.
Quite recently, actually. No, there is a Norwegian cheese, and it's like a caramelized cheese, and you can have it on pancakes. No, we had it on waffles.
That sounds pretty good.
It was really good. Yeah, and that was definitely a dark cheese. So I'm telling you, if Chandler has that in his grilled cheese, sign me up. I will take the dark cheese.
I will take the light cheese.
Okay, that's fair. We can share. Speaking of sharing, what a bizarre way to split a sandwich. No.
Really nasty, because you see Joey just like sinking his fingers into the
but also
nasty.
It's a sandwich. Can you really not handle I assume that this is her Thanksgiving meal. She was planning on having turkey, yams, cranberry sauce, all the fixins, right?
Yeah.
And she now wants half a sandwich?
Yeah. Is she not hungry anymore?
That's ridiculous.
What's going on?
Fair enough if you don't want to eat it all in one go, but I do believe she's going to go back for a second half of a sandwich.
Like half a sandwich is nothing.
And there's a knife right there. I'm just like, this... the episode, I was fine with it until this very moment. I'm like, you cannot do this. No, do not dig your hands into a sandwich and rip it apart.
Especially with Joey, because you never know where his hands have been.
Moisturizing his butt, most probably.
I don't want to know. I don't know. Please, use a knife. Yikes, yikes, yikes.
Despicable. So, do you know what? I'm appalled by this scene. I'm going to write a complaint to NBC or whichever net. Yeah, it is NBC. Yeah. I'll be like, this is a crime against grilled cheeses.
But I do think that the overall, like, the vibe is very cute and wholesome and the meow.
Okay. I'll let you have it.
Yeah. So eventually this episode ends with Joey trying to improve his poster by tearing the bottom half off, although it doesn't exactly go to plan because, of course...
Well, should we do it in turn?
Do you know them?
I do. I wrote them down.
Oh yeah, I don't know them.
Okay, I'll do them in turn with myself.
Okay, sure.
So first one, bladder control problem. Mm-hmm. Second, stop wife beating.
Oh.
Third, hemorrhoids.
Nope.
And finally, winner of 3 Tony Awards.
That's way better.
That's way better.
Way better.
But my gosh, these posters that they must have in New York. Jeez.
Yeah, they're awful. But then, of course, Joey is very happy with his one poster, but he doesn't realize that the rest of New York is like plastered with the original one. So doesn't make much of a difference.
But he only knows that his lover goes to the subway and she's in that stop.
But she has already seen it, so it doesn't help.
That's
anymore.
True. No one will notice the tears. They'll all be like, "Oh yeah, seems about
just part
right."
of the design, you know. So fun. Anyway.
So, final thoughts on the episode? I thought it was all right.
Yeah, me too. I do like the Thanksgiving vibe, the theme. I think that's fun, and I loved how sarcastic Chandler was. That was like one of my top things in this episode. I really liked.
Yeah, I think this one got me excited from future Thanksgiving episodes.
Yeah.
I hope that we get to see more of Carol and Susan.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
also.
both of them and their dynamic with Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think a lot of discussion points, which here at Friends of Friends, we are always looking forward to, even if it is just a debate about light cheese and dark cheese. So yeah, a decent episode. I'd give it let's go 8.1.
8.1. Yeah, 8.1 is good for me as well. So,
well, that brings us, Christine, to the end of today's episode. I very much hope that everyone at home enjoyed it as much as we did.
Absolutely. So don't forget to tune in next time, where we'll be chatting about Season 1, Episode 10, The One with the Monkey.
Oh, I have a feeling I know which character is going to show up in the next episode. Christine is not excited.
No, I don't like the monkey.
Ah,
poor Marcel, I know, but we'll discuss it next time.
We will. So come back for that.
And if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. And please also leave a rating or review, because this really helps us or like other people to find our show.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget to send us a message on Instagram at FOFPodOfficial or
through our email, which is FOFPodOfficial@gmail.com.
We do love hearing all about your experience with Friends, what you're up to, and of course, me and Christine chat a lot at the beginning of each episode. If you ever hear one of our stories and you're like, oh, I have an interesting story about the day where everything went wrong, or anything like that, do let us know. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, please do. And until then, take care, and I'll just say, we have one amazing podcast and about a zillion Friends episodes to go.
Oh my gosh, Christine, that was the best ending of the podcast ever. Mic drop. All right.
So see you next time.
Bye!